Now, we touched briefly upon climate change there. I believe that you've been doing some experimentation with some new varietals, or should I say old varietals, in a kind of way of mitigating the challenges that climate change could bring about.
Yeah, there's I mean, this is a topic that will probably go on for a while, and there's another very exciting direction of research. We are rediscovering varieties we already had. We are and we are about, I think, to rediscover varieties that are nearly extinct, but they used to be there. So to start with that second category, I very recently discovered that there's a variety called Aubin, which is spelled Aubun, which is apparently a very close cousin of Counoise. So and one of its nickname is le Carignan de Bédouin, and Bédouin is the village that is really on the southern slope of the Ventoux mountain. So apparently it's a variety that was born in the area, and that produces wines with little color, great acidity, low alcohol. You know, exactly what we're going to need more and more to balance our blends, really. So this is one variety that I think we're going to try to re-experiment, and we've also discovered that in the Grenache probably only arrived in the area, and I think it's true for the whole southern Rhone, to be fair, in the 19th century, and Syrah probably in the late 19th, early 20th. And so some other varieties like Muscardin or Terré were there much before, but they're now nearly not planted anymore. And so I think we're going to replant some of them and try to see if they don't have the acidity and the freshness that we're going to need in the coming years. But to come back then to the first category, the varieties like Cinsault or Counoise, which are planted but in small amount, I think definitely have a great future in the very short term. Cinsault today is used very much for rosé, but I think we're going to start seeing more and more a bigger proportion of Cinsault in the blends of reds, and probably we're trying to work on that right now at Pesquié, and probably even a few cuvées that will be 100% Cinsault, and this will be very interesting. It could be something somewhere between Gamay and Pinot Noir for the Southern Rhone, I think. And on the white front, we do have quite few. We just planted a little bit of Bourboulenc last spring, which is another variety that is definitely, that has always been there, but that has not been planted much lately, and Grenache Blanc and Clairette are absolutely incredible white varieties. So great acidity in the Clairette. The Clairette, I think, is, and this is a late discovery at Pesquié, to be fair, even though we've had some for a long time, but Clairette has really been the biggest crush, no, it's more than a crush, really, the biggest love story we've had in the last 5-6 years.
Oh, interesting. So, now you're back into your second confinement or lockdown right now. What does that mean for your restaurants and the like, and how has the pandemic impacted your restaurants? Because I'm sure that a lot of your sales go to restaurants.
Indeed, that's well. So in France right now, it's been 3 weeks then restaurants and bars are closed again.
Yep.
And fortunately, part of them outside of big cities, let's say, had a good June, July, August, September period, but it is becoming very very frightening.
Yes.
Our president is supposed to talk tomorrow and actually tonight, and announce some new measures, but very few believe that it's going to make any changes for the restaurant industry. So the risk is not only they won't reopen before the end of the year, but they might not reopen before January, February, or even later, which is a catastrophe. It is a catastrophe for us, but and I think we really have to strongly think about the restaurants and all the teams and the chefs and the sommeliers and that can actually not do anything against that. Fortunately, on our side, we do have retailers or online stores or that are still working. In some countries where we export, restaurants are still open. So this is still a chance for us, but it is critical. I feel a lot for the restaurant industry right now, and I'm very afraid of the consequences. How is the situation in Ontario right now?
Well, we have gone back down into lockdown in Peel region and Toronto. So it's being done region by region within the provinces and then province by province. So it's all done at the provincial level. All of my friends' restaurants had to close on Monday, actually. And they had all just got ready, expanded their patios, put up heaters to try to mitigate the cold Canadian winters and to have outdoor dining. But all of that's been stopped also. So, I fear for my friends. How satisfied have you been with your national government's management of the pandemic?
Well, I'm very happy I'm not in these shoes. It's a very difficult question, I suppose.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to judge, and I think history will tell, but and we can see that from a country to another that there are no easy or clear recipes. I'm partial to that, of course, as well, and I'm a bit angry about the fact that the restaurants are some with the tourism industry in general and the events industry and a few others, of course, but they are paying the highest tribute, and I don't know if they will be compensated in a sufficient way.
Yes.
That said, it seems very difficult to do anything else than trying to confine the disease by locking down all of us. So that at least that second lockdown in France, from general economic perspective, seems to have much less impact than the first one. So I suppose this is a progress. And we are hoping that the top of the second wave has been passed, its peak has been passed. I hope so. But it's a very frustrating situation because I think it's also very easy to criticize and I'm absolutely incapable of bringing a general plan to stop the problem and save all our friends. So we all doing our best and trying to keep a good spirit about it.
Now, you did have some good news during the first lockdown, did you not?
Oh yes, it's now that I just mentioned our love for claret, I think I was biased by that. Yes, we had the great luck with my wife Kristen to she gave birth to a little girl called Juliet. It was the 6th of April, so we were very much in the heart of the confinement, and it's been actually a beautiful experience because it was in our area we were not touched very much by the pandemic in the first lockdown, so it was very quiet. We were still confined, but at the clinic we were basically alone, and nobody could visit, which was absolutely fantastic.
I was about to say that could be a bonus there.
Yes. We had a very quiet 3 or 4 days with my wife and Juliet at the clinic, and she's been bringing us a lot of joy since then. So. Yes. I had planned not to travel at all in this period anyway, thanks to our little girl. So for us, in the grand scheme of things, we've been very lucky. And I was making that claret because we've created a cuvée that is called Juliet, Cuvée Juliet, and it's the majority of clarets. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
No.
Well, speaking of travel, hopefully when all of this is over, you'll be able to come over and join us in Ontario for a glass of wine. Thank you very much for joining us once again at Good Food Revolution for a second recording of this Dan interview. And we look forward to catching up with you sometime soon, Frédéric. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Always a pleasure.
Stay safe.
You too.